adjustment method. This is the heart of entire image. If this has been done properly, then you have full control over your objects in your scene. Now, before I do that isolation of objects and get masks from my multi-matte elements, I like to do my color correction. So I'm gonna add a little bit of yellowish and bluish on the midtones and on the highlights, cyan and blue, and on the shadows I get a little bit of something like that. And I also add another color balance. Some might get my image a little colder, some might get my image a little warmer, so the combination of both will bring that desired result. So one is cold and one is warm, going to give me that nice cool combination of both. Now upon this I can start and building my folder of adjustment layers. I'm gonna take my all adjustment layers, put it in a folder, call it adjustment, and now I need to go into every element and start isolating. Okay, so let's start from this one, first one with water and our two flying spaceships. We go to channels. If I click on the red channel, I can click Control and click on the layer, get the selection, go back, create curves, hide this, and I get a curves mask that I can start playing around and adjusting. So I like to get my masks first. Let's get the other ones. Go to the green channel, click on the green, Control, get the mask, click on curves, and voila, we get that mask automatically created. And the last one is the blue, so click on the blue channel, Control, and then curves. So voila, from that mask we have 3 curves that we can start working with. So first curve here for this shape right here, and this curve is that guy right here. So you can see as a star it was really dark, but by using curves I can really start fixing those objects in order to fit them better in my environment. Okay, so the next one is this guy. Let's go and extract those. Blue, Control, click, curves, green, curves, and then red, create curves. Okay, so now I created those guys and I can start playing with them. This is my inner net here, which is getting a little lost, but when we're fixing it, it's gonna start to look much nicer. Then we have the top roof, which is also needs to be lighter, and then we have this curve line, which is already exposed, so we're not gonna do much with it. The next one is this building here, so let's go ahead and extract that. Control, get the blue, curves, oops, curves, Let's go back to that red element and get this structure again, curves, hide it. So you can see I do separate them with my original multi-matte element. So I have multi-matte element and I'll have 3 masks. Same here, I have multi-matte element and then I have 3 masks. So I put my masks above, and I know that the multi-matte element that I took those masks is the last layer, and everything that below it belongs to the new matte element. That's why I like to keep it organized, so I will not mess up my layers. Let's go check out this structure here. You can see by fixing it, getting it really nice, a little like industrial dirty look. But you can see just by doing a little curves how much contrast and how much presence that structures get back to our image. Let's click on this one, and that's the top part. Same here, needs to be a little bit more contrasty, and voila, by using those you get much better presence. Okay, next one, let's get some buildings into the play. Channels, need to unhide it. Channels, let's get the red with control. You can see I put 2 maps on one. That's not the best thing to do, but I can always crop one from another to save some time. So let's put curves, and now we can have another selection of that mask by clicking Control and create another curves. So from one curve I'm going to remove this. I'm actually gonna paint it in black, and then from this curve I'm going to remove that building. Edit, fill, black. Control D to deselect, and voila, I have 2 masks, one for the building, one from another building. Even though they were on one map, I was able to extract them from each other. Let's go back and get our green channel. Click, Control, and then go back, curves, and let's get another one. Blue channel, Control, curves. Okay, so I get 4 buildings here from one map. Now I can start working with them. Let's work with this far building. Looks a little overexposed, so I'm gonna give it a little bit better shadows. Something like that. And let's do the middle building here. Looks a little too dark, so we're gonna make it lighter. Next building. Okay. And this one. Control T to deselect. I always press Control and I click on the layer just to see, it gives me a selection and I can see on what element I'm working. So Control D to deselect, and with Control on the layer and click, you can select. Alright, so something like this, because it's been turned towards the sun, so we'll have some more volume here, and this guy in front of it also needs to be a little bit lighter, and the guy at the back needs to be much lighter. So it works normally like this. The buildings on the front will have a little bit more contrast, and the wind and the buildings at the back will have less due to that fog effect that we experienced with V-Ray Z-depth pass. Okay, so we continue to the next one and get those two buildings. The G, oops, curves, and the red curves. Gonna hide that and work this one to fit better. Now this building position towards the sun, so it's going to be lighter than the buildings on that side. So always try to think from what direction comes the sun, so everything that's closer to the sun obviously going to be a little bit lighter, and everything that turns away or in the shade or in the dark, of course, going to get a little bit darker shadows. The next one is this. Let's extract those guys real quick. Get the bridge, curves, let's get the building, curves, let's get the green bridge at the back, curves. Alright, so now let's fix those, that building, oops, the bridge at the back. We have to zoom in if we're standing too far, because we need to see what we're actually doing. So something like this, and then that DNA bridge right here, and more contrast. Okay, next one is the walking path for pedestrians, curves, and let's tweak that, see how this reacts to the sun. So it's pretty exposed. I wouldn't really go on the highlights. I would maybe just add a little bit of the shadows to look a little bit more contrast here. Yeah, something like this. Now the vegetation.